Before you realize it, alignment has already begun. When the word alignment draws your attention, many people feel something like this deep inside. If I enter this state, something might change. It's not something you can fully put into words, but there's a quiet sense that a slightly different way of living may exist. In practice, when you enter alignment, the feel of life begins to change, gently. There's a sense of moving forward without forcing, and a calm that lingers after making choices, one that doesn't need explanation. These small changes slowly begin to accumulate. In this video, we'll explore what tends to change within you when you're living in alignment through experience and sensation rather than theory. If you've noticed that the way you feel or the way life responds to you has been shifting lately, this message will likely resonate with something you already sense. From here, let's look at these changes one by one. Chapter 1. Things begin to move without forcing. As you move deeper into alignment, many people notice a particular change first. When you try to push yourself forward by force, discomfort becomes easier to sense than before. You may know what needs to be done, yet feel unable to move. You might think you could do it once you start, but something feels as if it's gently holding you back. In alignment, these signals of strain become clearer. At the same time, something interesting happens. Without trying to push, more moments arise where things begin to move naturally. Timing aligns, someone reaches out, and before you know it, the next step is already there. In alignment, effort itself is no longer what's rewarded. Instead, actions that match your current inner state are what move things forward. Rather than pushing through with force, riding the natural flow often leads to progress more easily. This is the first shift many people experience in alignment. Chapter 2. Your criteria for choice. Return within. When you're in alignment, the way you make choices gradually changes. Before, you may have unconsciously focused on what was right, what would avoid failure, or how things would look to others. As alignment deepens, those standards lose some of their grip. In their place, a subtle sense emerges, hard to explain but unmistakable. This feels more natural. There may be options that look appealing on paper, yet don't feel quite right, and others that lack clear reasons, yet bring a quiet sense of calm. In alignment, these subtle sensations begin to guide your choices. This isn't about becoming impulsive or thinking less. Rather, it's the part of the mind that overthinks becoming quieter, allowing feeling and judgment to arise from the same place. Even without certainty in the moment of choice, you may later look back and think, "This was the right decision." That is how choice begins to change in alignment. Chapter 3. Anxiety about outcomes softens. In alignment, the way you relate to future outcomes also changes. Thoughts like, "Will this work out?" or "What if it doesn't?" may still appear, but they no longer dominate your inner space. It's not that results stop mattering, but imagining them no longer causes strong emotional swings. Anxiety doesn't disappear, it simply loses its pull. Alignment strengthens your ability to return to the present moment. Even if your thoughts drift ahead, you naturally come back to your breath, your body, your immediate sensations. Over time, this becomes a source of inner stability. You may notice that instead of trying to control outcomes, simply staying aligned with your current state allows things to move forward more smoothly. Rather than grasping for something, you begin to understand, through experience, that maintaining your inner state matters more. This is how your relationship with results changes. Chapter 4. Your life's pace begins to adjust naturally. When you enter alignment, the rhythm of your life itself begins to shift. The pressure to rush, to act now, or fall behind starts to loosen. In its place comes a sense that there is a pace that fits you, not whether it's fast or slow compared to others, but whether it feels sustainable, whether it feels right to continue. In alignment, some people experience life speeding up, while others notice things slowing down. In both cases, what they share is a sense of ease with how things are unfolding. There's less need to push yourself forward. You begin to trust the current flow. As your pace settles, space opens up in your decisions and actions. Pausing no longer feels like failure. Resting and waiting become part of the natural rhythm. This is the change alignment brings to the tempo of life. Chapter 5. The urge to control gently softens. In alignment, the impulse to decide everything in advance begins to soften. The tension of trying to prevent future problems or move ahead too quickly no longer feels necessary. Instead, you find yourself returning more often to what you feel right now. Rather than searching for answers, you check in with your present experience. And from there, the next step naturally becomes clear. Alignment shifts your relationship with life from trying to control it to moving alongside it. Without forcing change, you sense that adjustments can happen from where you already are. This realization allows deep tension to quietly release. Anxiety doesn't vanish, but when it appears, you no longer feel compelled to act from it. By releasing control, a sense of ease emerges that isn't temporary, but ongoing. This is one of the most significant inner changes that alignment brings. Final chapter. The greatest change alignment brings. In alignment, your relationship with yourself changes before anything else. You no longer need constant confirmation that you're doing things right or making the correct choices. Instead, a sense of trust in yourself begins to grow. Perhaps the greatest change alignment brings is that peace no longer depends on conditions. Rather than feeling calm only when results appear or approval arrives, you learn to return to your inner state and realign naturally. Over time, this becomes familiar. If you can't explain it, but feel that the way you live or perceive things has been shifting, it isn't a sign that something is wrong. It's a natural movement. Alignment guiding you back to where you belong. Alignment isn't about trying to improve your life. It's about reconnecting with the inner sense that has always been there. Through that process, life begins to align without effort. The change you're sensing has already begun. I am Realia. The small changes happening within you may be signs that alignment has already begun. If this video helped you reconnect with your own inner sense, I'd be grateful. Please support the channel by liking the video and subscribing. And if anything resonated with you, feel free to share it in the comments. I'll see you again in the next video.